All right, this is Small Caps Trading Podcast. Today is August 2024. Anything you hear on this video is not a financial advice. Today, we're going to talk about forced action and I guess not forced action. The other one is. Um, but yeah, we were a bit away a little bit. I just moved into a new place, so the podcast hasn't been as regular as it used to be. Hopefully, from this, it will go back to its regular track. But no, you want to take over?
Yes, sir. As you said, we have been very inconsistent posting because of, you were on the move, I was on the move. There was a week where I had a fever. It was terrible. Um, but we're back now. Now, one of the last podcasts that we did talked about trappy action. What does short traps look like, right? And we could sort of rehash that real quickly. I could even put it in a sentence right now, right? Short traps are when you have tickers that are in play, right? And they're doing the thing, they're running, they're very extended, blah blah blah, all that stuff. You know what it is, and then it pulls back, but it doesn't do any pullback. It does the kind of pullback that makes longs and shorts think that this is the beginning of the downtrend here, not the entire downtrend, just the beginning of the downtrend. So it causes longs to exit their positions and shorts to enter their positions, only for that substantial pullback to be very quickly reclaimed and the strength to return right away into the stock, right? So that's in 15 seconds the explanation, but we did a whole podcast on it, which if you didn't watch, you should watch. And we we realized that there's also the other side of that coin. There's a yin to that yang, which is that just like there's trappy action, there's also forced action, and it's worth understanding that as well. And actually, it's worth understanding both because they're flip sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
Without further ado, like, is there anything you want to talk about? Ask before I jump to some examples. Talk about it.
No, I'm curious too because I feel like I know trappy action more than the forced action. You tell sometimes this is too forced, but I'm kind of interested to learn on this one too. So let's do it.
So let's do it. Yeah. Let me share a screen here real quick. Share screen. Entire screen. This guy. All right. So it'll take me a second to just pull up to those dates, but give me a moment. I got a few. So I have prepared a few examples. I've prepared examples of straight up forced action, and I've prepared examples of situations where you have both trappy and forced on the same ticker. But let's start with a little bit of the forced action. So Mali very shortly said, he said, "Oh, sometimes I'll tell you something is forced," and what what you're referring to, of course, is that there'll be situations where, again, like this is only for things that are in play, and y'all should know what that means: major, 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 percentage gains, all that stuff. But there'll be situations where as much as we're aware of the short traps and we watch out for the short traps and all that stuff, there'll be situations where a ticker would push so much, but I would not see a lot of shorts in there. What I would see is a lot of longs in there, and so that's what we would call long heavy, right? And in situations and of course this is, look, any little thing that we teach here doesn't happen necessarily every day, and you can't use it on its own. But having said those caveats, there are situations where something is very long heavy to my eyes, and when it's long heavy, I'm really not I would definitely not long it, and I would most likely short it. And I'd like to go through a few examples. So let's refresh our memory again. A short trap is when something did a substantial move and then did a substantial pullback from that move in a way that shook out longs and invited shorts, only to reverse. Now, here on BFI, we don't really have that. Like, we have, okay, it did whatever this is. It never really did a crazy move, and then it sort of faded away, right? Um, and so this is not trappy. This is just nothing. It's something that didn't go too crazy and didn't, it's nothing. It's a blip. And then all of a sudden, it just comes back. And again, this is not a short trap, because like a short trap would be if this was here and then it went down here and then did this and then reclaimed. That's a short trap, right? This is not a short trap. This thing is just nowhere, and it's starting to go. And as it starts to go substantially. So we're looking at, sort of a move from 32 cents up to 72 cents, right? So I think here might have been the area where I told Molly, I said, like maybe around here or so, I don't remember. I said, hey, this is forced action, or in other words, it's long heavy. Why is this long heavy? Because it just keeps on going up and up and up, but it never even remotely gives shorts a reason to short. Now, that isn't to say that they aren't some super reckless shorts that are shorting this without any short signal, but that's not going to be the majority. So by and large, the majority of the participation here is long, because it's doing everything that longs like to see and nothing the shorts like to see, right? So it just sort of pushes up and then pushes again up and then pushes again up, without any short traps, without any shakeouts, without nothing. So this is what I call forced actions, or long heavy action would probably be the more accurate term. And
Yeah.
the thing about this is that, like, if you want something to do an even crazier move, 9 times out of 10 you need the shorts. You need the bench shorts, to add fuel to the fire. It's not just that you need the bench shorts. You also need to shake out the longs.
This
It's
also
just
didn't
how
shake out the longs, right?
correct. Where the hell would it, dip worked, dip worked, dip worked, dip worked, dip. This dip also worked later on. Why like there's no reason for longs to sell. There's no reason for shorts to enter. It's completely long heavy, and combine that with the fact that it did a really large move. You know, that gets us interested. And so it never, like, now if from here, say, you do, damn, like, even the most basic, the absolute most, like, basic of traps, like, if it had, say, you might have had it here, your level, right? So at the very least, come down below here, give longs a reason to sell, give shorts a reason to come in, and then reclaim this and go something, right? But nothing, nothing. It's just up and up and up and up. And so, now look, sometimes things can go up a long time. This is a substantial amount to go up straight up. And so there are the questions of, and what's, like, how to time this and all that stuff. But for right now, I just want to focus on more examples of forced action. And I do think that people should watch the short trap video and sort of watch those back to back so that your eye understands the difference, right? Now, should I show a couple more examples and then we jump into questions, or do you already want to jump into questions?
Um, on this chart, where do you see, like, I understand this is long heavy, right? But for someone to execute it, like, how this will be helpful for someone to see, okay, this is long heavy, this is how I'm going to change my execution. Like, You know?
I don't even know how to begin to answer that question. It's sort of why I said that all of these things are tools in a tool belt.
Yeah,
Nothing that I teach is like, oh, okay, well then I can just go and do that. No, like
yeah,
from the very beginning, when we started putting out these little lessons, I said the idea is for somebody to watch all of this and then put all the concepts together, right? I mean, you know that you don't short anything based off of one and only signal.
yeah, correct.
You know what I mean? So why would this be any different, right? But it's just extremely. I think it's a must to understand what trappy behavior looks like, what forced behavior looks like, or long heavy behavior looks like, and all the other things that we put there. Like as far as look, me and you both traded this, and it was a really big trade for both of us, and a very easy trade for both of us. And
Yeah,
so I could reverse the question back to you, and I could say, why did you nail this so absolutely well? Right, and feel free to answer that question. But I think most importantly, it's first is to understand. Watch the last video, understand what trappy action looks like, and in this video, I think it's more in the service of explaining what forced action looks like, which is the antithesis to trappy. It's the polar opposite of trappy action, and then you put those two together, and even that alone, and even those two together, they're not enough for you to just do something with. You have to understand all the other stuff too. Unfortunately, that's what makes trading hard.
yeah, correct.
But why did you nail this?
Um, I mean, this it wasn't even supposed to be breaking the pre-market highs. It just popped up out of nowhere. I'm watching it. Okay, every deep work, like what you said, and first time it actually didn't work. That breakout failed was in that high, and
I'm
that
talking about right here.
yeah. So if you are
Right.
thinking
This is
long,
this is where you got in.
yeah, every time I started putting very small there though, like just keep putting lower, lower, lower.
Right.
And also at the same time, me and you had the conversation like 5, 6 months ago. You explained this concept of when something is just long heavy, every time it's make a new high, pay attention how much it goes, and that's time it didn't go anywhere
There it
after
is.
after
Right.
making the new high. It
Right.
instantly fell into the range. That's your short clear out, long back up there. I'm like, oh wait, this is a shift there. So that's why I was very interested. And after that, it just failed. So I started putting my size in it. But that's
Right.
why.
That's right. Fair, extremely fair. So you got short here and added down. I actually got short here, and then also and I added here and here and here, and actually lower too. But but no, for real, man. Like being happy about a good trade aside, um, the reason why I traded it the way that I did is because I just didn't see where the shorts were bent, and I could see where the longs were just starting to put themselves in a really precarious situation, and that's sort of what it's about. So let's look at a couple more examples and see if
Yeah.
any other questions pop up or if it starts to crystallize in our eyes. But give me a moment. Let me pull up. I got a list somewhere. All right. Yeah. Great. So we're just gonna. Um, it's in no particular order. I just. Right. So here we have something that went. Um, we don't need the daily here. Just the 1 minute is fine. So here we have something that it was like sub 40 cents, and it went straight up to 90, right? So
Yeah.
um, almost 100%. And again, where's the trap? Where is the area where longs get shaken out, and where's the area where shorts get tempted to come in, but then pay a price for it? Where is it?
I mean, I
It
guess I
goes
can
it, go,
say.
it goes from 40 something to 90 something straight up.
Oh, that front side. Whoa, you think that's long heavy too?
How could it possibly not be long heavy? Where
Well,
where
my
are where are the shorts here?
well, my reason
Where
was gonna be.
you're a short. Where would you like you see
Oh,
this and you're a short? Where do you get short?
I'm not gonna short this. I was just thinking when I looked at it first, this thing just went straight up. Where are the dips for longs? But now it looks like okay, there were some dips to long.
Right?
Sure, fine, yeah,
So 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 look man, like the whole point is to like if like this one doesn't have the beautiful dips the BFI had, right?
yeah. That's what I
So
was looking for.
this is even worse for longs because where on BFI they could have like some longs had good averages and some longs had bad averages, and this no long had a good average. Um, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But let's cycle through a few of them. Let's watch a few more, and then see if there's anything that. So let's see. We got BFI we looked at. And again, it's important to note that it's not like it's price action only. Every one of these has a story. It has, um, the bigger picture, so to speak. Now here, for example, you sort of see that sub VWAP action, but the thing about it is that it's not in an area that actually will attract shorts, in my opinion, because the thing went from like a buck 80 to like 270, and then the quote unquote short area was like at 230. So like, I mean, it didn't do like the trap needs to be at a place the trap's shorts. You know what I mean? The thing needs to go 100 something percent, and then dip 30% from there. And then there's still 70% left to go. That's substantial. That's why shorts would be interested in shorting it. This kind of shit can't happen at the lows and actually attract any real shorts.
Yeah.
But it sort of looks like it, but it's not. And so from here, you just really have a big shove, and then you have a big fade, but it's in the VWAP. It's something that might shake out some longs, but I don't think it attracts a lot of shorts. Not zero shorts, but not a lot. And then woof, another even stronger, push. And so what you're seeing here is, there's no shorts. This is not. I'm not saying there's no shorts at all. I'm saying what's driving this move isn't shorts. Um, it's longs. And so if what's driving this is longs, then their average gets higher as this thing goes higher. And as this thing goes higher and the longs average goes higher and there's no bent shorts there, that is what I call long heavy, right? And let's look at a couple more, and then we'll get into some chit chats.
I feel like
Um,
SLRX on the day after Black Swan will be a nice one, right?
which one? SLRX?
Yeah, when it went nuts. Um,
Let's see. Yeah, man, you fucking nailed it, bro. That's exactly it. Right?
yeah.
Right. So let's see. $2 to $7. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And whoa, that's my side monitor over there that I used to look at the screen shares. Fell on me. Correct. So it's long heavy, and it also shows you that just because something is long heavy doesn't mean that it's easy to time it, because they can still so this shows you how, like, even though something is long heavy, it doesn't mean that it's easy to nail it. You still need other other signals. You still need maybe a looking left, or maybe some dilution in certain price points, or all the other things that we talk about. Nothing works alone, but it's the idea is this: if something has gone substantially, but it's long heavy, then the pops will be heavy, and meaning to say you can get you can get pops and pops and pops and pops and pops and pops and pops, and they'll be heavy. They'll be sold into because longs are in trouble, not shorts. Um, and the sort of action that you're used to is the opposite. You're used
Um,
to um,
so
you're
the
used to yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask the more one thing go parabolic like this rather than sideways action, the most reliable the pops on the back side will be, right? I guess because of the
That's one
longs.
way to say it. I wouldn't say the more something goes parabolic versus sideways. The more something goes parabolic versus trappy, because trappy is not sideways. Trappy is
Yeah,
whipsaw. It's down then up, down then
yeah,
up. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It gives you whiplash. That's what trappy does. Um,
Okay.
and so, but yes, if something is just long, heavy, then if I could also rephrase the last thing you said, it'll be you have a much higher chance that you'll get a long fade because you're gonna get like you're gonna get longs bailing into pops. And if you get longs bailing into pops because it's going against them and their averages are from this, reckless straight up action, so their averages are high, they're bad. And if the pops keep on getting sold into, then shorts never get in trouble. And so it's just with or without the shorts, it's going to sell off. But now you also have the shorts that are selling into these pops, right? So you got short selling into the pops, long selling into the pops. That's heavy. That's heavy.
It's so interesting that I guess before you point that out, I wouldn't think like when something goes up like this, I wasn't thinking that will be long heavy because if there are no nice dips, then sure. But I'm like, who is really longing this? Like, you gotta really chase. Like, you gotta really, really chase to me. But I guess that's how it is work sometimes. Since I'm not a good long trader, it didn't make sense to me. Like, so you're saying people will be chasing this at like fours, fives, and eventually,
I'm not saying people will be chasing this. I'm saying people have chased it. The chart is telling you that.
yeah.
The chart
Oh,
is that's
okay.
what the chart is showing you.
Yeah, that's a good way
The
to look about it. Yeah.
right? Um, and so it's right like so there's different ways in which I trade, right? And you oftentimes try and like pinpoint why it is that I trade this way this time and another way another time. And I'll be very specific. Sometimes I'll only short highs, I'll only short strength, and I'll cover weakness, and I'll be out, and I'm not going to hit weakness. I'm not going to hit pops, right? And other times I'm going to hit pops, and I'm not going to try and find the top. I'll just wait for the pops, right? And if you start to connect the dots, if you start to see, okay, trappy action is the type of action where when it looks weak, it becomes strong actually, and forced action is when it looks strong, it's actually about to be weak, right? And so if you put that in your mind, and you know how to recognize it correctly in real time, then you are one step closer to understanding why it is that I trade some things, one way a certain time and a different way at a different time. Because it's not just that it's trappy versus force. That's one determination that I make. But there's a whole set of determinations that I make when I look at something that I'm asking myself: is this short strength cover weakness, or is this short weakness cover even more weakness? And one set of behaviors that informs me on that is trappy versus forced. It's not the only one, but it is one of them, right?
Yeah. What was
Let's
the
look.
first one did you say? I understand the second one that once something is really strong and it's about to be weak, and you also said once something is weak and it turns into strong. How do you do that again?
No, that's just trappy versus. forced action. But
Oh, yeah, yeah,
like
okay.
what I'm saying, what I'm saying is like it doesn't even have to be trappy versus not trappy, right? Like if we got like a sub 1 million floater,
Yeah,
um, am I and I decide I'm going to short it. Am I going to short strength or am I going to short weakness?
strength.
Right, and you know that, and you know why.
Okay, yeah,
Right?
and
It's got even nothing to do with trappy versus forced. But what I'm
yeah,
saying is that sometimes you try and pinpoint why is it that I sometimes want to lean on strength and sometimes I don't. And sometimes I want to lean on weakness, lean meaning short. Sometimes I want to lean on weakness, and sometimes I don't want to lean on weakness. It's because I'm trying to understand the behavior profile of the instrument that I'm trading, and I'm trying to match my trading to the behavior profile of that thing. And so if we always short pops, then sometimes it's going to work and sometimes it's going to work terribly because everybody knows, should know, I know you know, that some names, just the nature of how they trade is they show tremendous strength and then they show tremendous weakness, and from weakness they don't show a lot more weakness. From weakness they show strength, and from strength they show weakness, and from
yeah,
weakness they show strength again, i.e. the nano floats, for example, right? So if you understand that that's the general behavior profile of, say, nano floats, then of course you're not going to short weakness there. If you decided to short this, you're going to short strength. And so all I'm saying is that the behavior profile you can you can make sort of guesses before you even see the action by looking at the float, right, and other things that
yeah,
may give you clues to watch out potentially for it to have this behavior profile. But ultimately all you got to do is look at the action, because a small float can also not trade like that, right?
yeah,
A small float could trade differently if it wants to. So ultimately, it's in the action. So we look at the action and we say, okay, is this long heavy or not? If it's long heavy, I'm shorting strength. If it's trappy, then I'm waiting for real weakness, right? I'm waiting for that exhaustion. Like I need to see the shorts with trappy. I need to see the shorts blown out. With long heavy, that's not going to happen because that doesn't exist. So you have to look for something else. You have to look for longs to be underwater. And with the BFI chart, you did that. Maybe you understood that you did that. Maybe you didn't understood that you did that. But what you did was you shorted a failed breakout of highs.
yeah,
And so another way of saying that is you caught the long's mistake. And on a long heavy name, that's what you're looking for. The long's mistake. Whereas when you're shorting the trappy stuff, which is most of what you short, you're not looking for the long's mistake. You're looking for the shorts. You're
yeah.
looking
Look
for
for
when shorts get blown out and then you feel comfortable. So that's the difference between the two.
yeah. That's why it was so interesting to me because most of my trading comes from like what you said. I wait for shorts mistake, and then I will probably transact with the shorts buying, and I am shorting rather than longs buying and me shorting it. Um, this is interesting. Yeah, we can
Yeah.
keep going. I don't know. I don't have
All right,
questions.
let's look at yeah. No, I don't think this is a type of an hour long um video. This is going to be short. It's important to go through it, and I think it's important to go through it um, together with the trappy, together with the trappy example, right? And just in case people forget what trappy is, I'm just going to pull a chart up real quick, regardless, just to look at the trappy stuff, right? So this is sort of um, classic trappy, right? Where you have substantial strength, right? Because this thing went from wherever the hell it went to up to here, which is, a lot, right? It like doubled or more than doubled to get up here. And then it showed substantial weakness, right? So, and then what did it do? It view up, it just went into new highs, right? So, certainly I could see shorts being interested here because there's still a lot of meat left on the bone, and um, there's from a price perspective, there'd be a reason to short it potentially. And then what does it do? It blows them out. And then what does it do after it blows them out? It again does a substantial fade exactly to below VWAP, and then again, right? So just a quick reminder to people, if you don't remember, excuse me, what Trappy is. And now let's take a look at both, because um, oftentimes you're gonna see both, right? So um, again, this is not the world's best example, because I don't think it's really that trappy over here, because the prices, I mean, it came from 39 cents. I mean, fair enough. It went from like, from 40 cents up to almost 70 cents. That's a lot. That's a lot, right? Almost 100%. So then you got your sub VWAP action, and then the reclaim. So you got a little trap here, and then it's just up and up and up and up and up. And now this, I don't think that you really trapped enough shorts here to say that this is the shorts. I think ultimately this whole thing is long heavy. It's just predominantly longs. And so, what happens in that situation, where it's predominantly long? It gets heavy once it stops working, right? And so this is sort of a way to look at both at the same time. And I mean, that's really it. It's like a short and sweet. Not every concept has 10,000 words to say about it. Questions, thoughts?
No, I mean this. This is just interesting. I probably will have questions like later throughout the week, because once we talk about something, I like unconsciously think about those even in my sleep, and then I will just come up with questions. But now, right now, I
Well,
think,
good.
yeah, I mean, it was. I think it was really good. I mean, for me, because long heavy is not something I pay attention all the time. I pay attention where are the short getting trapped. No, this was good.
Right. So the idea is the same as the idea is exactly what you said, which is you said, "Oh, I'm just going to go to sleep, and as time passes, I may have thoughts about it." That's the point. That's the point of sort of sharing this information, is that you're like, "Oh, okay. Well, now I know what long heavy is. What does that mean for execution?" Hard for me to say on its own, but it's good for you to have that seed in your mind. It's good for you to have trappiness so you can recognize it. It's good for you to see long heavy so you can recognize it. It's good for you to understand all the things that we talk about in all the different, sort of educational series that we're doing. And then the idea is that you put it all together, you know? And then, hey,
That was
closing
perfect
bell
ending.
Friday. Yeah, there you go. All right. Well,
All
if
right.
nothing else,
Yeah, I'm gonna stop. Have a good weekend, everyone.
all right.